Hey everyone, you're here with Mark on Perfect Gardens TV. So today we have another great question. Had a slight infestation, bought your OrganiShield battling with fungus gnats. Would love any recommendations of how to use OrganiShield on concentration. I also bought your Drops of Balance April 30th, 2024. First week, keeping my fingers crossed. Any advice and pointers and tips? Okay, so with OrganiShield, biggest thing with OrganiShield is if you have an infestation starting, you are going to want to double the recommended concentration. So the recommended concentration is 40 mLs per gallon. And so that's at a 1% concentration per gallon. If you do have an infestation, go ahead and do 80 mLs per gallon and spray your plants down, starting from the base of the soil, spraying underneath your leaves, and then back out over the top. And the reason why you want to do that is if you start on the top, the leaves are going to get heavy, droop down, and you're not going to really be able to get underneath the leaves. And that's normally where most bugs and problems start. Some of the nice things about OrganiShield, it breaks down into water, CO2, and sugar. So the example I normally like to give to people is if you go into a hospital, all right, and you're dehydrated or you're feeling sick, what is normally some of the first things they do? They give you oxygen, they give you an IV for fluids, and normally from there, they begin to go from that point forward. Well, that's what OrganiShield does too, right? It breaks down to water. So when plants are sick and they're being eaten or destroyed by an infestation of bugs, one of the first things that begins to get interrupted is the flow of water through the xylem. And it's because the plant's being punctured all over the place depending upon what type of bug it is. Well, when the OrganiShield breaks down, it breaks down to water, right? So that's going to be huge because you're literally giving water directly to the plant. Second is it breaks down to CO2. And same thing, they give you oxygen in the hospital. Well, for a plant, the oxygen is CO2. So at the surface of the leaf, it's going to keep a parts per million of around 700 parts per million of CO2 for about 36 hours. It's a very interesting product of how it breaks down. And it's a product that kills on contact. So if it does not come in direct contact with the bug, it's not going to kill it. That's why it's absolutely important to properly spray your plants down, starting from the base all the way underneath and then back over the top. And if you have an infestation, how you kill your bugs is you have to understand the life cycle of these bugs with OrganiShield, because like I said, it's a kill on contact, right? So it's not the type of pesticide that's going to linger around in your crop, which again, you don't want pesticides that linger around because you end up eating them, smoking them, digesting them, or the end consumer does. So with OrganiShield, you have to understand the life cycle. So for example, like spider mites, for example, it has a life cycle of 3 weeks and they're hatching every 3 to 4 days. So you're going to be wanting to spray your plants down and then in around 3 to 4 days, spray your plants down again, 3 or 4 days, spray them again, and keep following that cycle for 3 weeks. That's going to allow you, the spider mites, to go through one complete full cycle of laying eggs hatching, babies, and adults, right? The full life cycle of the bugs. And because it's a kill on contact, before you know it, 3 weeks happen, I promise you, your entire infestation is gone. You might have just a minor section that you still have to attack, but lo and behold, your crop comes back alive. And one of the nice things also about OrganiShield I liked was that they did clinical studies on strawberry crops where they received a 24% increase in yield. And again, that's because CO2 increases the surface area of the bloom or your crop or your flowers. And so with the Drops of Balance, I would recommend you treat your water with 4 mLs per gallon of your foliar spray prior to adding in the OrganiShield. Drops of Balance creates a honeycomb-shaped structure in the water, and it also dissolves oxygen. So you're going to increase the surface area. It's going to make OrganiShield work better. And as everything breaks down to water, you're going to be having the highest quality ionic sulfate of minerals being foliar sprayed on your plants right alongside the OrganiShield. So both these two products combined together is a killer combination or your integrated pest management solution. Other tips specifically for Drops of Balance is when you are giving it to your plants, there's 2 ways to give 4 Drops of Balance. It's for your plants and to clean water for drinking. Specifically how we're going to talk about how to use Drops of Balance now. Initially, what we've identified is that if you treat your soil one time at a ratio of 5 mLs or 1 teaspoon per gallon of drops of balance, and you just fully saturate your soil prior to growing or at any point. If you do that one time, then if you from there just add in 1 ml per gallon, this is if you're using tap water, well water. If you're using RO water, you have to use half the amount. So instead of using 1 ml, you'll be using 0.5 mLs per gallon of water. If you're using tap water or well water, you'll be using 1 ml per gallon. You add it to your water, pH it under 7, and go ahead and give it directly to your plants. There's no reason to wait whatsoever. If you are cleaning your water for drinking water, that's the only time you would wait 24 to 48 hours to allow all the chemicals that are in your tap water to settle out the water, where then you can filter it through the 0.2 micron density filter bucket system we have. Besides that, that's the full instructions how to use it. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and I hope this video was helpful in understanding how to use OrganiShield properly and in combination with drops of balance.